Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Elsa Caleb. I'm one of the directors for the West London Chamber of Commerce. Can I just say, let us just wait a few more minutes for a few more people to join us. So if I say we can give everybody, another 5 minutes, we'll check in 5 minutes' time, and then we'll see whether or not we could actually start sharing what it is that we want to this afternoon. So I'll just say thank you for joining us. But as I say, let's actually start in about 5 minutes. So at 1:07, we will, resume and, get the information open and everybody talking and asking a lot of questions. So good afternoon, as I say, and let's start in about 5 minutes. Thank you.
Oh, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, Alan.
What a good group we've got here today. Thank you very much, Elsa and Leonard, for joining us today, and our guests that we've got with us today to talk about a fantastic trade mission we're going to be taking over to sunny Atlanta in Georgia. We've got with us two of the biggest smiles I've ever seen in West London today. So why don't you both introduce yourself?
Go ahead,
Okay.
ladies first, Elsa. Ladies first. Yeah.
I was
Okay.
okay.
Ladies first in traditional manner, as it should be.
Okay, thanks very much, gentlemen. My name's Elsa Caleb. For those that are not don't know who I am, I'm one of the directors for the West London Chamber of Commerce, and I run my own business as a business strategist as well. Thank you.
I'm really delighted to be here. So my name is Leonard From. For those of you who don't know me, I am actually the UK lead for the Atlanta Black Chambers. So I work and partner with the West London Chambers as well as bridge the gap between the two chambers. I also run my own business as well. within the finance space. So I offer fractional CFO services and finance and operations for small businesses.
Congratulations, Leonard. Thank you all very much for joining us. So we're here to talk about Atlanta and what's going on there. So I'm going to quickly share a screen if I can make the technology work for me, and Lisa will be telling me I should have shared this before to make sure it all works. Hopefully you can see this. If you can give me a thumbs up, that would be good.
Yes, we can, Alan.
Okay, fantastic. So these are some statistics from the Department for Business and Trade, part of the British government, talking about how UK and US trade has grown and developed. UK exports to the US last year were 186 billion, which makes the US our #1 export market and corresponds to about 1/5 of our total exports going to this one country. Our exports are split between 60 billion worth of goods and 120 billion worth of services. And in London, we're the main exporter of these services. So listen up. The US in balance exports 111 billion pounds worth of goods to the UK, which are split between 55 billion of goods, about the same as what we export to the United States, and 55 billion of services, about half the services that we provide to the US. The interesting statistic I find on here is that investment into the United States is just shy of 500 billion pounds. For a little tiny island on the top of Europe, that's a lot of money. Our companies, we invest in the United States, and the United States in turn has always invested heavily in the UK. We're surrounded by American companies, especially in West London, and their total investment is just over 700 billion. So not a huge disparity between both sides, although the UK is an enormous market compared to the USA is an enormous market compared to the UK. So we have a balanced trading relationship, and that is part of what drove our Prime Minister and the American President to sign the first part of a free trade agreement, bringing tariffs down to the right type of normal level. How does that look historically? Trade historically over the last 10 years has been slowly growing with a little blip over COVID and is now settling at quite a high level, a historic high level, and will continue to grow, I believe, now that we've signed this agreement with the US. It's really interesting, I think, to note at the moment that although the American president put tariffs on hold for 60 days while he negotiated, only 3 countries in the world have got a negotiated final situation with the America: China, Vietnam, and us in the UK. Now, given that we don't compete directly with China and Vietnam with our products, we compete with places like Europe. Right now, we've got an opportunity to drive some sales. And right now, this is the season where America places its orders for especially the Christmas season. So having trying to get things motoring with the United States, we need to get some business really flowing. So what business actually does flow? From the UK side, our #1 export is cars. And you'll have seen in the press that we've managed to get trade tariffs for cars made in the UK back down to a normal level. #2, pharmaceutical, medical products, mechanical power generators, scientific instruments, and aircraft. What does the US export to the UK? Crude oil, again, power generators, pharmaceuticals, but also refined oil, as well as aircraft. So our trade is quite balanced and we rely on each other. Some of the big companies that we have from the United States in our parts of West London, for those who didn't know, are companies like Disney, Cisco Systems, IBM, GSK is a 50-50 company, Warner Brothers, Paramount Pictures, PepsiCo, Starbucks, United International Pictures, Sky Television in the background of this photograph, on the top right-hand corner, is owned by Comcast, the same people that own Universal Studios. And we've also got the American University in Richmond, now based in Chiswick. And the picture that you can see is the old Gillette razor blade factory, which is now being developed into a film studio by IBO. So it's an exciting time for us in West London. And some of the companies that I mentioned are on the Chiswick Business Park pictured now, which is a wonderful futuristic, I think, UK's leading business park. So why are we trying to get trade moving between the UK, our parts of West London and Atlanta? We were very privileged to have a visit from Ricardo, who came over from Atlanta to visit us with Leonard a couple of months ago. After their visit, they were quite impressed by what we say, what we do, the companies that we represent. So they offered us a memorandum of understanding, which we duly signed, and had a government minister, Minister Malhotra, there at the signing, who represents the BAME community in the UK. Rolling on from that, and not to be restricted by just doing the first step, which is an MOU, we wanted to roll forward trade opportunities. We had a meeting with Atlanta Black Chamber of Commerce, Elsa representing our Chamber of Commerce, and Leonard representing their activities over here in the UK. And we decided it would be an incredibly good idea if we could try to get together a lot of the companies around West London who supply clever ideas, products and services into Heathrow Airport. Heathrow being the Europe's busiest airport, the UK's biggest port by value, with about 25% of our exports and imports coming through Heathrow, and take those clever companies with their products and ideas over to Atlanta and visit Atlanta International Airport, which is pictured in this flyer. The beautiful thing about Atlanta International Airport, for those who have not been through there before, is that it's a free-flowing airport, and it just happens to be the biggest and busiest airport in the whole world. And people over there are really excited to hear and understand what makes Heathrow the UK's busiest and Europe's busiest airport. So we have been putting plans together to pull this all together. I'm going to switch over to Leonard in a moment, but I'll wrap this first part of the introduction up by saying that our idea for this mission is that the budget for the costs for people travelling out on the 29th of September and back on the 4th of October, being a Monday to Friday visit, will be £2,500. And if you're a Chamber of Commerce member, you get a £500 grant, bringing your cost down to £2,000. We've asked for a £700 deposit, which is non-refundable, which needs to be paid by the 31st of July. Now, Leonard's going to go into a bit more detail of this, but for this point in time, the reason for the £700 deposit is because it needs to book your flight with Virgin. It's a non-refundable flight ticket, and that then secures your position on the plane. The rest of the reservation that we can make with the hotel and with the exhibition, etc., are all refundable if you choose not to fly. But the £700 deposit, not because we want to keep the money, but because the airline need to keep the money, is what needs to go on to the airline for that. So, can I pass the baton, if I take off sharing, over to you, Leonard, so you can say a bit about the hotel, the flights that you've
No,
been good enough to organise for us. Thank you.
no, thank you, Alan. And I'm super excited. I think this is a fantastic opportunity. If it's okay with you, I wanted to share a picture of what took place last year. So if I can share my screen, let me try and, okay, here it is. So as Alan has shared, and I don't know if you can all see my screen, but this was one of the pictures on opening night this time last year at the global conference.
Are
And
you
the reason,
telling us we've all got to take our glad rags when we go with us?
listen, you have to come with your best
Dress
smiles
to
and
impress.
absolutely just to impress. But yeah, this was the first night, and look how colourful it was. It was amazing, absolutely amazing, and it really set the scene of the whole week last week. This was in the mayor's office, where actually you've got monuments of Martin Luther King and some great individuals who've transformed our world in here. So I was super inspired. And what makes the trip quite unique is that you've got individuals across the world. It's not just the US. There will be individuals coming from other parts of the world, which really makes it a global trip. So different parts of Spain and Africa, and it's beautiful. So wanted to start there just to give you an idea that I've experienced this journey before. I've gone there last year, and it was actually one of my highlights of 2024. And hence why I actually wanted to work with the chambers to see how I can bring some of this energy and vibe back to London, because London, I believe, can definitely replicate this, if not more. So, what Alan was saying is that the conference is going to be taking place in a place called Buckhead, which is the northern part of Atlanta. It's quite affluent and quite well to do. So a really nice place with restaurants and great energy and vibe. That's where we're going to be based for the 5 days whilst we're there. In terms of flights, I've been working with Virgin Airlines, Virgin Atlantic Airlines, and they've been kind enough to give us some really good tickets to come in to Atlanta. So the plan is to arrive on Monday to acclimatize because of the jet lag, and then have a return ticket, obviously out of Atlanta at the end of the week. In terms of the hotels, I've also been working very closely with hotels and managed to secure a beautiful hotel literally a couple of minutes away from the conference center and right in the heart of Buckhead. It's going to be a Marriott four-star hotel, which will be offering complimentary breakfasts every single day throughout, and a king-size suite, or if you wanted two queen beds, we can also organize that as well. Um, in terms of, yes, just to give you a little bit more context about the conference and the agenda, I believe, we will be coming in on the 29th. Alan, I don't know if you want to touch upon it, but I'll just give you a quick high level. But on the 30th, will be us heading into the UK consulate to have a drinks reception and also an understanding on the market, what's really a business analysis and insights into how you can do business in Atlanta just for us in terms of our cohort that will be going. And then that would also be, well, that would be day one. Day two would be the actual kickoff event, which starts on the 1st of October. And that will be at the trade center where we're going to be meeting. And there we'll have like a drinks reception and an opening welcome from the Atlanta mayor and different dignitaries who will be present to kick off the whole experience. And then the next couple of days will be followed by a conference. Effectively, we're going to be having keynote speeches from different individuals, and then also B2B matchmaking. And the reason why we want to do that is to make sure that actually there is real value that everyone can get out of this mission. So all of those people who sign up, we want to get to know you and your business. We want to understand sort of what are your requirements, what you want to get out of the trip. And the plan behind that is to see how we can matchmake and hopefully collaborate and build bridge partnerships, opportunities, and investments between businesses in the UK and hopefully in Atlanta. Um, we also are looking to have Atlanta Airport show up. So we have dignitaries and senior individuals coming in from Atlanta Airport to be present throughout the conference, and will offer an opportunity for individuals to actually approach them and talk to the buying team and the purchasing team to see how you can strike business out in Atlanta. I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to cover, but I'm super excited, as you can hear, um, and I'll go back to Alan.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much, Leonard. It's really good to hear that we're guaranteeing that we're going to be getting one-to-one appointments for people who travel with us, who supply to Heathrow, into having appointments with Atlanta purchasing team and the key decision makers there. Not just at one level, but at multiple levels within the airport. Um, I wanted to expand a bit on the embassy reception on the first official night. We obviously arrived there on the 29th. It's an overseas, it's an over transatlantic flight all day long. People are going to be jet lagged. We're not going to expect you to come out and be your brightest and perkiest at an embassy reception on the first night. It'll be a quiet evening meal on the first night and then to bed. The next day, you'll be allowed to have some access, I believe, before the actual exhibition opens to the Go Global conference. Is that right, Leonard? Yes.
That is
Okay.
correct, Alan. Yes,
And,
yeah,
and is there going to be a British stand specifically there?
correct. No, and that's really good that you mentioned. So we're going to have a British or UK pavilion for anyone who's going to be coming along with us. So if you are someone who has products and that wants to showcase or advertise some of your products, we can put that around the pavilion. Unfortunately, before the call, I wasn't able to show you the virtual rooms that have been set up and created, but I've seen them. They look really, really, really great.
Okay, so that's on the first day, the 31st. Then in the afternoon, we're
30th,
going to be
30th.
going over to the British consulate. I've had discussions with the key people there, the chief of staff and the deputy. The consulate general herself was in the UK for the UK Heads of Mission conference last week. But her staff are organised for number one, an economic review of what's going on in Georgia and the southern United States from a UK exporter perspective for us. And then, secondly, in the evening, there's going to be a drinks reception held for us by the British consul, who are going to be inviting specific companies who we would either like to see or they feel would be good matchmaking opportunities for us, given the profile of the companies that we're going to be taking over. So we have our first opportunity to meet companies who want to do business with us in Atlanta at the British Consul. Second, we're then moving on to our third day, which is the October the 1st. That's the first day that the exhibition starts, and we're going to be taken there. It's a short walk round the corner from the hotel, and we'll be able to be on our British UK stand, showing off our products, mixing and mingling with other people that will come along there. And then in the evening, as Leonard said, that there's a wonderful drinks reception that's laid on the 1st. On the 2nd and the 3rd, we'll then be laying on one-to-one meetings with key people either over there outside the conference, for example, at Atlanta International Airport, or we'll be allowing you to mix around and get to know the people at the conference who won't just be from Atlanta. It's called Go Global Conference for a reason, and that's because people come to it from all over the world and all over the United States. So it's a wonderful platform to give UK companies an opportunity to showcase what they do, not just in Atlanta, but in the greater region across the US and around the world from there. Is that about right, Leonard?
Spot on, Alan. Yeah. And the only other thing I was going to say is that there will be also some panel conversation. So during those one-to-ones, there will be some points where we're going to break up, and there will be panel conversations with experts on trading, imports, exports, etc. So you can get some insights into what is taking place in that region.
Okay, fantastic. Elsa, you're the person with the net who catches up with people like Leonard and I and tell us what we've forgotten.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, you've done very well this afternoon. But if I can just talk about some of the things that happened last year, so it kind of puts it into context. Okay, we've spoken about the fact that it is a showcase with products and services, and there's a lot of B2B matchmaking sessions that will be going ahead. Last year alone, there was over 15 countries that attended. Okay, and don't forget that whilst you're there, you could actually network with these other countries. So it'll save you going to places like, I'm just trying to think, I know Haiti's on board, and I know that some South America areas, and then people flying in from different parts of the world as well. So it'll be an ideal opportunity for you to be prepared to meet other representatives from other countries as well.
Go to Atlanta and see the world. Yes.
There you go, straight away. And also there was over 2 million worth of transactions that actually happened around that time last year. So I know that this year alone, we could actually double that, especially if we're prepared and organized. And actually, I know that we know some of the countries that are coming, but I think as we progress, we'll be able to share that information so that if you want to connect with one of the other countries, get prepared, because you can do that in the room.
So can I just clarify, that's 2 million transactions, not $2 million worth of transactions.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
okay.
$2 million, $2 million.
Right.
Value.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
worth of
Got it.
transactions.
Yeah, I wasn't there last year, but hey.
I was there. And
I listened for details. I'm sorry.
Thank you. They also said there was over 500 plus curated matchmaking sessions. In other words, the people that are actually connected there, over 500 people, connected with other businesses, and business continued.
Can I just say as well, Elsa, on that very note, this is good having a dialogue like this. Can I say that if you're a UK company that manufactures something special, not just a pen, but something special, and you want to sell it to Atlanta, you don't just want to make the sale to Atlanta International Airport. You want to find a business partner who can act over there as your agent and distributor, who can install it, who can maintain it, who can give a warranty on it, who can make sure it works properly over a long period of time. And that's the side that will give you the follow-up business, not just make it a one-off sale.
And that's true. And I would love to add to that, Alan. You're spot on there because I've seen that happen, and it's happening even as I speak. Because of last year, there are um, distribution partners, people who have fulfillment centers who can help with the distribution of products in the region. And I'm actually working on that. One of the contracts I'm working on at the moment. So that is absolutely right.
Fantastic. Back to you, Elsa. Back to you.
That's fine. Am I right, gentlemen, in saying that there's going to be business site visits as well? So it's not all going to be in the conference. We're actually going to be able to see and visit other businesses as well. So I want people to get excited about that because, again, you know what it's like when people bring you into their businesses. You know, that's where businesses get done. Okay, let me just touch in relation to us as a partner, and we are a partner as part of this conference. We've been given the opportunity to spotlight what we do here in the UK. And I know they've got a matchmaking playbook. So for those of you that pay your deposit by the 31st of July, we'll be able to gather your details and send them over to Atlanta so that you can be part of the matchmaking playbook. So your details will actually be printed in this playbook so that it's interesting how they call it a playbook, but hey, so that other countries and individuals will have your details printed. So that would actually help in relation to your network. So, you know, it's not going to be so hard for you when you enter in. People say, oh, actually, yes, I saw your details in the playbook. Actually, I'd actually got you down to meet with you. And it just cuts out a lot of the time. And, you know, trying to meet so many move in between thousands of people, because that's what we're talking about. Do you know, we're not talking, 50 or 60 people in a room. So, as I said, we want to spotlight some of our partners. I mean, we as a chamber.
Chamber of Commerce.
That's right, we are. We want to ensure that you get the benefit. So we want to get your details in as soon as possible. And collectively, as a chamber, once we go out there, it just shows that we're all organized and we've got businesses ready to do business. Just to also say, and I think maybe Alan or Leonard would touch on this, the regular updates that are currently coming through from Atlanta, like on a Tuesday, and on a Wednesday. So I want one of you to elaborate on that more in a minute. But I actually, myself and Alan, I've been attending the partner meetings on a Friday. So I'm going to say to you, if you've got any burning questions, and I know that David Ellis has put one in the chat, and I'm going to raise that now. Please let us know, because we've got time to talk to the organisers to see whether or not we can make some changes and make sure that your actual visit to Atlanta will be not only just a joyful one, because we're going to have fun anyway, but worthwhile and more cost effective. So if that's okay, gentlemen, before we do I don't know, is there anything else before I start the Q&A?
Yeah, I can elaborate on that. So, Elsa, you're absolutely right. So, even as we speak now, the Power Hour for that Atlanta Black Chambers is literally kicked off. I've just seen a notification on my message. But yes, do tap into some of the great resources that Atlanta Black Chambers are offering before going. I think it's good to sort of just immerse yourself in what's taking place. A couple of other things, and I know I haven't spoken to Elsa or Alan, but ideally, before we even go, we will probably do some activation events just so that we can get to know one another a little bit before we go out together. So the whole reason why we're going as a collective, I think it will be great. There's a great opportunity to network between ourselves in the UK. And that's one of the reasons why we want to stay together in the hotels and build up those bonds between ourselves.
So I'm going to add a little bit onto what Elsa said as well. So the bond issue of getting to know your fellow delegates and understanding their experiences and using those to better your own experience is really good stuff. having a being able to book and pay your deposit by the end of this month, the end of July, means that number one, you'll get the discounted airfare that Leonard has brilliantly negotiated by pulling some good strings and local contacts he's got at Virgin for us. If you miss that date, then we can still see if we can get you into that, but there's no guarantees. Number two, if you have got a deposit in with us and we're ready, and we've got your details, you have a much better chance of being seen by more people in Atlanta at the pre-sessions, having advertised yourself more over there. You'll be at the top of the list of people who will want to see. I'm also going to share my screen one last time as well. If I can, and I'm going to show on here the list of things that is due to happen at the delegation itself. So I don't know if you can see this properly, but the participation includes admission to the welcome reception, curated B2B matchmaking sessions, daily meals and snacks while you're there, plenary sessions during matchmaking breaks, site visits, international participants only, that's us, and then or grant admission to the closing reception for the event as well. So, Elsa, as you put it, we should now let people ask questions, and I see we've got a few in the box. Would you like to host the Q&A, Elsa?
Yeah, I would like to. Thanks. Just before we actually start that, I did mention the regular Zoom, so I'm going to ask whether or not, for everybody that's actually attended, whether or not we could share those Zoom links for them so that from next week or even tomorrow, they can start joining them for those that haven't joined them already. Okay, so let's go straight into the Q&A. David Ellis, who was the first person to put a question in, and he's interested in particular in cross-border trade finance and data compliance and legal regulations. Okay, what can we share in relation to that side of the trip?
Yes, so I can answer that. Or Alan, do you want to go ahead?
So good afternoon, David. Thanks for joining us. There's going to be quite a lot of cross-border trade, and the issue that we're going to come up against is there's going to be lots of, from what I can see, frontier markets, places like Haiti, who Elsa mentioned. That's a particularly unsafe country to go to right now on the island of Dominica or Hispaniola. But it's a wonderful country, and it's going to be really interesting to see what American banks regard as trade finance and data compliance. American banks tend to be stricter than European banks because they're more regulated by the Office for Finance and Compliance, OFAC, in the United States, part of US Treasury. It'll be interesting to go through a learning experience of what Americans can do. But as far as our exporters are concerned, people who go over and meet people who want to export from the UK directly to those countries, we as a Chamber of Commerce have won an award for from the Department for Business, the British government in the UK, for supplying the best support for exporting in the whole of the UK. So we are absolutely number one placed in being able to answer those type of questions from exporters directly or from the legal side. Do you want to move on to the next question, Elsa?
Yes, I will do. Thanks very much. And I just hope that, David, we've answered your question. If not, do come back to us and we can follow that up in more detail. Okay, Rob Ems, who, we've met before and I think is excited to join us. He's got several questions, so I'm going to ask them one by one. And if you can answer them, that'd be great. Thank you. So are the flight tickets flexible for the return?
So yeah, I can answer that definitely. So Yes, there it is, but you might be uh, uh, open to a few more charges. So the flights, the Virgin are trying to make sure that they stay hard and fast with the dates to avoid variations. But depending on what it is, you might have to pay a little bit more for those changes. But yes, it can be flexible for sure.
Okay, thanks very much. Alan, did you want to add anything?
What your flight ticket is an economy ticket, so it's not flexible. If you want a flexible ticket, you need to upgrade to Premier Economy or Business, which you can do. It only means you're paying a one-way, more expensive ticket to come back. You might like a more expensive ticket to come back because it's an overnight flight and you'll get a good night's sleep. It'll be a few £100 more to do that, and it means that a business class ticket is fully flexible.
Okay, thanks very much. Thank you. What about samples and demo product units? Because I know that some of us have cited and what it looks like. Does anyone want to share how the businesses could actually access them, the sizes, etc.?
Right. I can take that one on straight directly. So the duty-free allowance for anybody traveling into the United States is $800 per person. If your product is worth less than $800, then you can carry that in your luggage. How do you prove your product is worth less than $800? You take with you an invoice to show from your company to an entity in Atlanta, for example, the exhibition or Atlanta Black Chamber of Commerce, and say that the product is being taken into the US for advertising purposes only, and the value for customs purposes is less than $800 if it is. You'll then be allowed to take it through into the US without any problems. If your product is worth more than $800, please get in touch with me. And there's two scenarios to this. One scenario is you pay the import duty when you go in, and it's likely to be 10%. So if your product's worth $1,000, you're paying $100 import duty. If it's worth dramatically more than that, you may need to have what's called an ATA carnet, which means that it will be stamped by customs when you take your product into the country, and you then have to have it stamped as you take it back out of the country to show that you've taken it in and taken it back out in the same condition.
Thank you. Alan, can I just ask in relation to that particular questions, and maybe I've got a different angle to it. You know, we talked about when everybody arrives at the conference and we'll have like our own area, our own village, so to speak. How will we split the sections up for those businesses that have got products that they want to display? You see what I mean? And the rest of us that, perhaps our service businesses. So I don't know. I know we perhaps haven't got anything visual, but is there a way that that can be done? Because somebody may bring in a whole lot of products and,
Let me just finish off an answer to the last question. The
please.
cost of an ATA carnet starts with London Chamber of Commerce, who can provide that. For a member, it's £258, or non-members, £426. So if you work out the percentage value of your product, you might find it's easier just to pay the import duty.
Okay, thanks very much.
I can let you know what the answer to that is. As far as exhibiting your products at the exhibition is concerned, maybe Leonard could answer that by us being on a British stand.
Yes, I would say that I have to go away. I think it's a great question, Elsa. And we need to also really understand who's going to be coming with products, and then work out what are the sizes and things like that. So I don't have the answer now. I think I
Okay.
just need to go away and understand who will be coming along.
I think if it's something that's quite sort of small, handheld, this type of size, then that's the type of thing that we can look at exhibiting. and having on a stand. But if you're going to take a wind turbine, that might be a bit more difficult to get in the exhibition centre.
Okay, thank you. But I suppose
You're
really
supposed to
once
smile at that, Leonard.
I would just say that as soon as we know who's registered, then we can really start, putting things in place in that respect. So thanks very much for that. Okay, Rob also asks, he has a US partner for some of his projects. Where and when should he attend to support Robert whilst he's at the conference?
So I have thought about this already. So someone has asked a similar question. So they could join the mission and be a part of our group,
Cohort.
be a cohort, but we'll be able to sort of maybe have to have a conversation to work out a price for him. But yes, ideally, maybe stay with us in the same hotel, and then we'll be able to also to attend the conference as well. But yeah, that will need we need to do as a side to what we're currently offering here.
Brilliant. So again, those details can be highlighted once it's registered, and then we can tailor make it accordingly. Am I right? Yeah.
Thanks,
Okay.
Elsa.
And are Heathrow joining us on the trip? Alan, over to you. You're on mute.
After all these years, you'd think I'd learn where the mute button is, wouldn't you? Heathrow have been invited to join us. They're very busy with their plans for a third runway at the moment, and especially in their run up to the Christmas season. But I'm in negotiations with them to see if they can. They did join us for the MOU signing, and if we can get enough people to go along on this, we can make a better offer for them to come and attend. They've done an event recently talking about how Heathrow is buying more and more and more UK goods with an organisation called Make UK, who we had a big reception with recently. And they are also advertising this to all the companies that manufacture goods in the UK to see if they want to use this opportunity as a springboard into the Americas. I used the word plurally on purpose there.
Thank you. All right. So, Robert, I hope we've answered your questions. I'm going to now jump over to Sidoni, who's asked a question. Will we be given some advice regarding the packaging and transportation of products that are to be exhibited? Alan?
You need to package it up in your suitcase. The luggage allowance is of one suitcase and one handheld bag to go on the aircraft, I presume, which is
Correct.
normal.
That's correct. And it's
And the weight,
23 kgs. 23
exactly where I was going to. The weight allowance is normally 23 kilos, which, considering we're going there for 5 working days, we should be able to have enough space within a suitcase for something that you might want to take with you to be exhibited. The other solution, of course, is to take it along with you as a handheld iron bag, and your bag has to fit within the rails of the boxes that they have by the side of check-in.
Can I just ask, what happens if they want to bring in a bit more? How would they handle that?
Yeah, that can be sorted as well. So again, as soon as you've booked, it'll be good to sort of just work with us to find out if you needed to take extra luggage, you can buy extra luggage to come along with your ticket. But that is going to be additional.
Okay, thanks very much.
There's a clever little trick that people sometimes play with people at airlines, and I shouldn't really advertise this too much, but if you're standing behind somebody that you know's got a light suitcase and theirs goes through quickly and your one's a bit heavier, and you then say, well, we're both traveling together. If you get the suitcase that's already gone through back, I can transfer some of my things into that to balance out the weight a bit more. But the suitcase has already gone down the conveyor belt, so they can't get it back. and normally the airline check-in crew let you go through then without any problems.
Oh, so that means I can bring my extra outfits and my posh shoes then, yeah? Just joking.
You can absolutely do that, yes.
Okay, thanks, Alan. Okay, I think, and also there's a comment from Robert that says he'll work on Isabel around the prototypes and ask, if she can join us. So that would be nice.
Perfect. Well done, Rob. That's exactly what we need. I was with Isabel last week and she had a big smile on her face with what we're looking to do.
Okay. So I just want to thank everyone for the questions. Unless there's any burning questions that anybody wants to share directly to both Leonard and Alan, I'll give you a couple of seconds to either put your hand up or just intervene. Okay. Justin states or says, sounds like a fun week. We'll be going specifically to meet Atlanta airport executives. Does purchasing mean procurement? Can you influence arrange meetings with those at the airport who will be strategically responsible for, in other words, their types of services? Passenger experience and airport services being two examples. Gentlemen?
Great question. So I'm going to say who will be exactly going. I don't have those names yet. So I'm not going to say it's going to be different layers, like Alan has rightfully put out. So it will be execs and ideally individuals in the purchasing team. But I don't know their exact experiences and titles, so can't really specifically answer some of those questions there, passenger experience and airport services. So yeah, not sure.
So I'm going to answer that very directly to you, Justin. We've had talks with Atlanta locally at their Black Chamber of Commerce, and they are in touch with the airport, and they've offered to get us the appointments that we need for people if they can specifically tell us what they're looking for. We've also spoken to the British consul, and they've equally said, tell us what appointments you need, and we'll also get those for you. So if one doesn't work, we'll get it the other way. We know why you're going to the airport to do business there. This trade mission is to take people to Atlanta Airport to do business there. And that's the biggest thing we've got a guarantee to do. And we've got the will and the means and the ability to do it. The reason why Leonard is saying we should get it is he lives in a real world. And if a tornado blows in and people don't come into work on that week, then, we're not going to do that. But short of a big disaster, those people are going to be attending the exhibition. They're going to be there to meet people. And we've been given the confirmations by the Chamber of Commerce over there and the British consul that those meetings can and will be arranged. Yes.
Thank you very much. And I'd just like to add to what Alan's saying. As the West London Chamber, you know how we work. We like to do business with you and we like to actually support you as much as we can. The deadline's the 31st of July. And I like the way that Robert said that he's asked, who does he need to speak to at Atlanta Airport? Because we got these questions early, we could actually try and sort a lot of these out for you. So I'm saying to you, yes, we will chase up on everything that we've mentioned today. As soon as we know that you're coming, in other words, you've paid your deposit, and we will do the legwork for you and then come back to you. All right. So I'm now going to hand over to, sorry, Sidona's asking another question. Can we have the details to make the deposit stroke full payment for the trip? So Alan, I'm going to ask you to mention that as well in relation to payment, so invoicing, etc. Okay,
Right, so Lisa, who's been kind enough to host this call and do the backroom bits that makes the magic happen for these calls to take place, is going to be with Aya raising invoices and sending them out to people. The invoice will show that the cost of the visit is £2,500 less a £500 grant, £2,000, with a £700 deposit payable now to cover the cost of your air ticket, the balance being due a little afterwards or closer to the time.
Okay. I've also seen a request for jewelry. Is it Jalis who says that they make jewelry with precious metals? They need a jewelry display cabinet to showcase their jewelry. Do they have to rent these cabinets themselves?
So because it's quite specific, Elsa, I like to say all these things, once you signed up, we will make sure that anything that you requested you'll get. But I can confirm and get that to you. I don't think that's going to be an issue. If I recall last time, there were people who came with jewelry to the GOC, so it shouldn't be an issue at all.
Lovely.
The only thing I think you need to stipulate is to whether it's going to be a standard glass box where people can see but not touch the jewellery, or do you want it to be a smash-proof glass box so that somebody can't hit it with a hammer, the glass shatters, and then they steal the jewellery that's inside?
Okay, so
at these type of conference centres, they're well used to having people exhibit these type of things regularly. So it's not the type of thing that's so difficult to get. They normally have an array of them that you can use.
To add as well, the security is quite robust in these centres. We'll go through airport type security to get in. That's what took place last year in terms of just going through. So it's a well secured venue as well. So not anyone and everyone's going to be coming off the streets. Everyone coming will be vetted from within the chambers.
okay, thank you. Can everybody take note of Lisa's email, and it's in the chat, in relation to the request for a deposit stroke invoice to be sent to you? All right, so yeah, take note of the email, Lisa Rides at westlondonchambers.org.uk. Alan, over to you to conclude. Thank you.
Okay, so as well as either sending it to Lisa, you can send your request to myself or Elsa or Leonard, and we'll forward it over to Lisa for her to raise that for you. The final thing I would say is that this is all about getting good links with key people to get business moving. We're a not-for-profit organisation as a Chamber of Commerce, and we're here to help our businesses and members. So this is exactly the reason why we're here, to help do these things. We don't do these things for ourselves. We do them from you, our members, who we're looking to help their business and your business grow. So if you want to grow in this part of the world, sign up, come along, and we'll make the magic happen for you. Thank you very much for attending today. Thank you, Leonard. Thank you, Elsa, for both joining us. And thank you for Lisa for hosting. Have a great afternoon. Look forward to hearing from you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.